Hey, what is happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin Gold. So the other day I made a video about Bitcoin Gold, kind of talking about what it was along with the other upcoming Segwit fork. So for any of you guys who are in the dark, there's going to be two Bitcoin forks coming up, similar to like Bitcoin Cash was a fork. So on October 25th, there's scheduled to be a fork called Bitcoin Gold. And this one's kind of come out of left field, and a lot of people have been very skeptical of it, to say the least. Most people seem to be calling it very shady. And then we have Segwit 2, which is going to be forking. I thought it was going to be November 1st, which was going to be 90 days after the Bitcoin Cash fork. However, I was watching a YouTube video the other day. I think a guy said, based on how the blocks are being mined, I guess it's anticipated to be on or around November 18th. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about Bitcoin Gold. The developers behind it, or I should say the developer, because there's only one developer, responded to a lot of the criticism I think it was on Bitcoin News that they responded to a bunch of the questions and problems a lot of people are bringing up with Bitcoin Gold. I also wanted to talk about Bitcoin Gold scams and let you guys know to be on the lookout for scams. Don't share your private keys with anybody. As we know, not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
Your keys, your Bitcoin. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Your keys, your Bitcoin. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. You guys probably heard that from Andres Andronopoulos. Anyhow, I'm going to show you guys this, what's likely to be a Bitcoin scam site and why you should stay away from these things. Don't be in a rush to claim your Bitcoin Gold. It's probably not going to be worth a whole lot, and you're potentially putting your real Bitcoins at risk. But let's talk really briefly about what a lot of the criticisms have been. So, people all over YouTube and Reddit and blogs have been really criticizing this project, rightfully so, in my opinion. Somebody did a whois search on a domain, and apparently whoever owns this domain owns like a ton of crypto domains. I mean, that's not really anything shady in itself, but that's one thing people have been bringing up. The project does not have replay protection added, which means, I guess if you were to do a transaction with your real Bitcoin, or I should say if you do a transaction with Bitcoin Gold, potentially somebody could steal your Bitcoin Cash, or vice versa. That hasn't been added to the code yet, and I think that's only, 2 weeks away at this point. There is little to no development on GitHub, and the project, this is probably one of the biggest things, the project has pre-mine implemented into the code. So what that means is the developers can pre-mine it. I think they had also looked at doing an ICO, which would be dramatically different than Bitcoin Cash, right? Because with Bitcoin Cash, if you had Bitcoin, you automatically got free Bitcoin Cash. With this, they were going to do an ICO, so the developers were basically going to do an ICO, sell some tokens, sell some coins, and line their own pockets with some money. But there's also other plans to pre-mine, which would mean that the developers would have a significant amount of the Bitcoin Gold to begin with. So the developers today responded to a bunch of these criticisms. You can be the judge if their responses are adequate. So in regards to replay protection not being added, they say it will be added in time. It's not a very difficult part of the code, and they'll have it up there before the fork. This part I thought was kind of a joke. They explain their lack of, because all these things are open source, people can view the code and things like that. They say the lack of code is due to the fact that they only have one developer who's a volunteer working on the team, and that definitely explains why the development is slow, but it doesn't exactly instill confidence in the project, right? You're launching something that's 2 weeks away. There's almost no work done on it thus far, and you only have one volunteer working on it. Like, yeah, that explains why not much is done, but it doesn't give me very much confidence in the coin. As far as hash rates are a little bit over my head, but the developer says the hash rates haven't been decided, so I don't know how you can write the code if the hash rates haven't been decided. And then the biggest issue, which we talked about, was pre-mining. I think that's the thing people are taking the most issue with. And they claim that it was a fundraising idea they had back in July, but decided against it and removed it from the site. However, Bitcoin Gold still has pre-mine code within the code, and they say they will not rule out the fact that they may pre-mine some coins to fund the project, and or put some money in their pockets. And this is a quote from them. "We will not completely rule out the possibility of a modest pre-mine to provide a basic level of funding for the project, but if we do so, it will be made transparent to the world, and a detailed financial plan describing how those funds would be used will be provided. So I'm not sure what you need all this money for. If you have one person working on the project, I guess maybe to hire more of a development team, but maybe all that stuff should be done before you fork the coin. What you're looking at right now, however, is what's likely a scam site that's called claimbtcgpu.org. And basically what this site claims to do is if you give them your seed key for your wallet, which is essentially giving them your Bitcoins, do not give anybody your seed key or your keys. You're basically handing over all your Bitcoin to them and trusting them to give you your Bitcoin gold as well as give you back your original Bitcoin. So if we do a who is search on this, the domain was bought by Namecheap, pretty much completely anonymous out of Panama. Doesn't instill a whole lot of confidence there. Create your own Bitcoin Gold wallet and claim the Bitcoin Gold. For each Bitcoin Gold that you own on October 25th, you will receive 1 Bitcoin Gold. Warning, to request Bitcoin Gold, you need to use the wallets that provide private keys or a seed, such as Electrum, Mycelium, Ledger, Trezor, etc. If your Bitcoins are on exchanges like Coinbase, Poloniex, Bittrex, and others, you can't claim Bitcoin Gold. If this is the case, move your Bitcoin to a wallet up to October 24th. So, I think this is why scammers can get away with this stuff. Everybody gets so greedy about wanting their free coins and wanting to be the first one with access to them that they wind up doing stupid things like entering their seed keys to a site like this. I think most people would say it's probably better to control your Bitcoin and control your keys, ideally on a Trezor or a Ledger. If not on that, on a paper wallet, and if not on a paper wallet, on a site like Electrum or something like that. Now, I know a lot of people claim that you shouldn't keep your Bitcoins on exchanges. Well, I generally do think that is pretty good advice. If we look back to the last fork, the Bitcoin Cash fork, the people who had their money on exchanges like HitBTC and or Bittrex actually probably fared better than anybody else. On HitBTC, you could have sold your Bitcoin futures for I think as high as $1,300. Right after the fork happened, even people like myself who use a Trezor or a Ledger or whatever else, it took them a couple days to get a process in order for you to claim your Bitcoin Cash. And during that time, people who did have their Bitcoin on exchanges, because there was so few people that had it in hand and could sell, those people were able to demand premium prices. And they got anywhere from $900 to $1,100. After that, Bitcoin Gold went down pretty big. It did wind up coming back to $1,000, but now it's down to $100 and something, I think. But anyhow, they claim that you should, create an account here. You'll be redirected. If we go to the About page here, once Bitcoin is forked from Bitcoin, Bitcoin Gold will be activated. Blah, 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 block size. When will the mining start? When a development code is done, mining will start. The developer's working on it, blah, blah, blah. So here you can create your wallet. If we go down further, let's see, here's the wallet that they say you can do it with. Frequently asked questions. Why is my private key required? In order for us to prove that you have possession of Bitcoin, you need to confirm. You need this confirmation. Every fork is needed so that all coins can be fairly distributed. What's the step to claim? And I actually put together a pretty nice looking site here that kind of explains things. Like I could maybe see, if you're not that experienced with cryptocurrencies, maybe thinking this is legit. Definitely don't try to access your Bitcoin Gold early. You're putting your real Bitcoin at risk, and what you're doing it for, Bitcoin Gold, will most likely probably fizzle away to nothing, or at the very least, won't be worth the risk that you'd be taking to get these things early. So here's what they claim their process is. Private key. So you need your private key. Bitcoin, of course, will not be. What is a private key? Claim Bitcoin Gold. Fill in with the email. So they want you to give them your seed. Give them your private key. Give them your seed. And click confirm, and then you're going to get your Bitcoin Gold early. In reality, they're probably going to steal your Bitcoin and your Bitcoin Gold. It's one thing to leave your Bitcoins on an exchange like Bittrex if they're going to split them for you, or even a Poloniex or a Kraken. But nobody has ever heard of this site. We really don't know anything about who's behind this thing. Definitely don't fall for this this con. And personally, I would recommend just being patient. When Bitcoin Cash forked, as much as I wanted to claim mine early and everything, even after Trezor kind of released a beta way to go about and claim them. I actually just wound up waiting for a couple weeks because I wanted to make sure everything was secure. I really don't think anything is worth risking your Bitcoin, especially significant amounts of Bitcoin. So yeah, don't trust anything like this. You know, control your own keys. After this fork happens, you know, keep tuned in to Reddit. If you have a Trezor, keep up with the Trezor blog. They'll give you instructions on how to safely claim your Bitcoin gold. But yeah, definitely don't hop on some unknown site and give anybody your private keys or your seed. So hopefully you guys learned something in this video. Hopefully I saved you from maybe throwing away your Bitcoins, or I should say giving away your Bitcoins. And it also just wanted to kind of update you guys on the criticisms of Bitcoin Gold, as well as the developer's response to it. Curious to hear what you guys think. If you know anything else about this, if you have any other info, if I left anything out, please drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.